Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala rasulillah. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. So welcome back to this last edition of this beautiful Ramadan. I hope it's been beautiful for all of us. And we're going to look at connecting with another conversation with the from the Quran. And I'd like to think it's beautifully kind of wraps up where we started. We started with Allah's conversation with subhanahu wa ta'ala, his conversation with the angels, and then with the shaitan, and then we moved on. So there was the conversation that took place up in heaven. And now I want to wind up, and Allah somehow guided me to it, to look at the conversation that happened before we were born. So that is the conversation that Allah asked us for the contract. It's called the mithaq of, what's it called? The mithaq of alast, when Allah asked us, alastu bi rabbikum. And we said, qalu bala. And this is all of us at the ruh level. So just to give you a background, that's just what Allah asked, and that's just what we answered. So that's a tiny conversation. So now let's just go a little bit into the background of it. And then I want to connect this conversation that we had before we were born. And inshallah, Allah allow me within this time limit to give us at the end, when Allah says in Surah Fajr, radiyallahu anhum wa radu anhum, and what is it? And let me just get to it, even though I have it memorized, but when you really want to have it, it escapes your mind. So it says at the end, when it says, Ya ayyuhan nafsul mutma'inna, irji ila rabbiki radiyatan mardiya, fadkhuli fi ibadi wadkhuli jannati. And it says, and what is it that Allah is going to say? Oh, you, ya yuha, gosh, I can't even say it today now. I've got it really wrong. My mind's got blocked. But anyway, it's ya ayyuhan nafsul mutma'inna, that oh, you mutma'in nafs. This is in Surah Fajr, in the last of it. It's 27-28. It says, "Fadkhuli fi ibadi, wadkhuli jannati." Oh, irji ila rabbika, return to your Rabb. Radiyatum mardiya. You well pleased with yourself and well pleasing to Allah, that you are pleased to where you're getting to. So inshallah, having asked alastu bi rabbikum, Allah in the very beginning with us of where we are. And now, at the end, this is where I'm just already giving you the nutshell of where I'm going with the alastu bi rabbikum. So alastu bi rabbikum is a testimony from the pre-worldly state. So the covenant occurred in the realm of pre-existence, known as alam al-arwa, okay, in the realm of the souls. Since the nafs is tied to a physical body and a dunya world, it could have not been there as an entity testifying. It's only the ruh, which exists independently of the body, could participate. So at the ruh level we did it. Now we supposedly have no recollection of having done that. Okay, so we said, well, I don't know, did I take a covenant with Allah? I don't know. But the beauty is Allah put that blueprint in us as beings, as a body or as a nafs or whatever. So in our fitrah, doing goodness is embedded. Now, if we do enough wrong, that embeddedness gets tarnished. Like we say that the heart, the rust of the heart is being away from Allah. So all that can take us away from it. But our blueprint, and this is in Surah Araf, when Allah says, when Allah drew forth from the children of Adam their loins, their descendants, and made them testify concerning themselves. So that is what he said. And we said, we bear witness. And so this covenant is established of innately recognizing Tawheed in every soul. So that's why we say we don't talk about converting to Islam. We say we revert. Because at your soul level, when you're born as a child, it's a Muslim at base. It's only afterwards with what the parents teach or what your society teaches you. So it does say that, we were created in a state of the natural inclination to Allah. And it's carrying a profound awareness, the submission and the return to Allah. And so there's that conversation happens, and inshallah, then when we are at the Nafs al-Mutma'inna level, the tranquil soul, when it says, oh, return to your Lord, well pleased and pleasing to Allah. So you, وَادْخُلِي فِي عِبَادِي وَادْخُلِي جَنَّتِي, oh my abd. And we know time and again that abd is the best accolade we can get. You know, it's the best phrase. I've got so many labels. I'm a mother, a grandmother, a this, a that, and whatever else you can. The best label we can have is to be an abd. And so this is the final state when the soul gets is fulfilled its covenant of Allah. So we have lived a life of submission, inshallah. We have lived it this Ramadan in a most beautiful manner, in righteousness and in peace with the Creator, and doing all that is pleasing to our Creator, and all that is in service to mankind. We are serving Allah. So that mutma'inna is fulfilling that promise, that primordial promise that we did, that we recognize Allah and we are aligning our life to that divine decree, to that divine. So, you know, so this is what I wanted to show. And now I just want to read to you a little bit about, because in essence, the conversation we had before birth at the primordial level, it was at our ruh level, of which we may or may not know. But just to, if Allah allows me the clarity of speech and be able to say it in a way it's meant to without saying anything out of turn, is just to distinguish between this body it's my ruh, it's a nafs, it's the qalb, it's the fuad, it's all those things, and we can do a lot. But I just want to look at it so when he said, he made them testify, even though Allah nafsihim, even though it says ashhadahum, I made them testify, this is in Arab, ala anfusihim. So I wanted to look, anfusihim, it's talking about nafs, but it's not, it's talking about themselves still at the ruh level. So that's why I looked up that if that is what we did, that the divine responsibility that was entrusted to the ruh was a okay, so that's about the fitrah. The nafs instead, in the worldly life, the nafs often obscures the innate recognition of Allah due to desires, distractions, attachment to material goods. That's why at the nafs we have gradations. The ruh is the ruh is the same for everybody. And in Surah Bani Israel, when it says yasalunaka anir ruh, they ask you about the ruh, say yasalunaka anir ruh min amri rabbi. Tell them that the ruh is from the amr of the Rabb, and the ruh is the same. We don't have it's all the same for all of us. That's why when you make friends and you have good companionship, or it's like we didn't know each other. You're from a different world, I'm from a different world, ethnically this or that, but your ruh is calling out to each other. At your ruh level, you recognize each other. So that's it. So this universal recognition from that alastu bi rabbika, what we get is from that conversation when we all said qalu bala, every human being at their core has testified it is, and it is our natural inclination. So time and again, that's what emerges. When people say, oh, all roads lead to Allah and you can do it your way, my way. No, the way of alastu bi rabbikum, do you recognize Allah as your Rabb, the Tawheed factor, the one, you can call him God, you can call him Dio, you can call him anything, but you recognize that it is the one Rabb. That's what it is. And we know that from, the Christians in the Arab-speaking world, in Jerusalem, elsewhere, they call him Allah. So it's not that it's different, but I don't want to go into that discussion just now. So the accountability, the covenant serves as a reminder that the humans are inherently aware of a creator, of Allah. And the Quran and the prophets have been coming to serve the reminders of this original testimony. And on the day of judgment, no one is going to be able to claim ignorance. Okay, and then, so this is the alast. So, whereas because it happened in the alam where there was no nafs yet, it was us at ruh level. That's why we know, even though in that this ayah when it says alastu bi rabbikum, it doesn't say the ruh said that. He said we all said, we testified. They all said we do testify. Lest you should say on on the day of Qiyamah that we did not on Qiyamatu inna kunna ana haza ghafilin. I was ghafil about this, that I didn't know. So that's the background for that. And the nafs is what gets groomed on the dunya. So whether it's we say the heart is the seat, the qalb is where the iman basically is, and the brain works against it. Before I get into land where I get confused, but in that is the ruh is there, and the nafs, if it mirrors the beauty of the ruh, that it's qul amri rabbi, that it is from the amr of the, and we can, then we've got this beautiful prism of a beautiful light shining out. And if our nafs is nafsul lawama, or even before that nafsul Ammara bisu, the nafs which directs me to wrongdoing. It comes up in Surah Yusuf, if I'm not mistaken. Surah Lawama comes much later, but I can't remember which surah. It's towards the tail end of a surah, in just 29 or 30. So that is when we are beginning, the sense of guilt. Even a child, so 2 years old, it's all about me, or whatever. It doesn't, it's all what it wants to do. It wants to do, I want this Smarties, I want the Smarties, and that's it. But eventually, even when they start at 3 or 4, they start, maybe by mistake they broke something, you can see the sense of guilt on their face, and that's a nafsul lawama, of guilt, of recognizing a distinction between right and wrong. And from there, within Sufi terms, they've got more stages of giving different names of nafs, but eventually the nafs which is going to be called to the heavens is the nafsul mutmainna, the nafs which has aligned itself with what has been commanded to us, to Allah, and that's where we go. So these two tiny conversations is what I'm going to say, what Allah asked us, Alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Rabb? And we all said, Qalu bala. Whether we remember that or not, that's what we said. So the fitrah, when you recognize in yourself, and this is the beauty when new Muslims come to the deen, it's like, yeah, because you had taken the covenant and you're just recognizing it, and you've seen enough things, and that's what's making you into a Muslim now. And at the end is that, may we be there. So now I am a born Muslim, I'd like to think I'm living a Muslim, but I don't know at my dying moment, am I going to stay firm on my belief, on my taqwa, on my tawakkul, on my iman with Allah, or am I, God forbid, be in such pain that I just want to stab myself and kill myself, and then I've committed suicide and I've lost the plot? So we as Muslims never claim that we've arrived, we are, blessed to the main thing we'll tell when we're in the akhirah. So, and in fact, there's a beautiful hadith of I'm not sure which pious person, and he was saying at his deathbed, not yet. And so his sons were, what is he saying? So it was like, even till this moment, shaitan is there, and it's saying, you're getting away from me, you're getting away. And he's saying, I don't know, not yet. Until my dying moment, I don't know if I'm free of you, the shaitan. They really gave me goosebump moments of that we truly don't know. So if we can make it, as it says in Surah Fajr, and for those who have memorized the surah and can memorize it, and all the rest, it's the most beautiful bit which says, Ya ayyatuhan nafsul mutmainna irji ila rabbika radiyatan mardiya. Be, O you righteous, Ya ayyatuhan nafsul, O you nafsul mutmainna, irji ila rabbika, come back to your Rabb. Radiyatam mardiya. And both those words come from rida, from the pleasure of Allah. And that's what we keep saying, that what is our purpose in life, that whatever we're doing, hopefully all this that's been going on in Ramadan and all the beautiful things that the shows that you're watching or otherwise, it's all really for the sake and the pleasure of Allah, of imparting knowledge, of imparting for dawah purpose, of imparting, giving somebody good motivational encouragement enough to want to return to Allah. Because they say the best of those of us are those who connect each other back to Allah. It's not about this person, it's not about how pretty they are or how eloquent they are or how they've got the gift of the gab or any of that. None of that is something. It's only about connecting to Allah. And the truth is that we also get derailed, and suddenly it's, wow, that was good, or that was, and shaitan does that. Like the guy of the garden, of the 2 gardens. Yes, Allah was given, and then somehow you forget who gave you all that, who gave you the skill to be able to speak eloquently, and you sort of take take it, oh, well, that's your own skill. No, not a hope in heaven is that what it is. It's just come back to Allah, come back. So at a personal level, I'd love to know that. And then for all of us there, may this be a beautiful end to our Ramadan, inshallah, and may we continue the goodness that we've been doing in this beautiful month towards the end. So with that, I'd like to end off, and you please pray for me as I pray for all of you listeners out there, and may the dua of a stranger to stranger goes like an arrow. So please pray for me, and I don't know who's listening, but may you all be praying for me and not throwing eggs on my face. And inshallah, may we all have a most beautiful continuation of the year. So with that, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun wa salamun alal mursaleen walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Assalamu alaikum again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And may you have a blessed Eid.